with Kelly Tennant and Associates, and I want to welcome you to our YouTube channel. And if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much. And if you are looking to be a subscriber, check out the subscribe button on YouTube to join us for more great content. I'm joined today with a great friend of mine and a colleague in the professional coaching community, Sondra Slivon. Sondra is an awesome person. If you don't know her, I think you should get to know her. She is a professional coach, a professional business coach, and she earned her certified professional co-active coach credential with the Co-Active Training Institute and her associate certified coaching credential with the International Coaching Federation. She also graduated from Duke University, also has a Master's of Arts in teaching and elementary education. And so she's got a great background in professional development and learning and development, and really work with individuals to coach them toward their goals in their business. So she really likes to partner to co-create really a cohesive coaching relationship. And Sondra and I collaborate on a lot of projects. And so I wanted to bring her on today with us at Kelly Tennant and Associates to talk about how coaching, specifically professional coaching, can help enhance your career, can help you practice and become a master at some of your institutional knowledge that you're trying to learn and you're trying to perfect. And so I want to say welcome. Thanks for joining us today, Sondra.
Thanks for having me, Kelly. I'm really excited to talk with you.
No, I'm excited too. And so we talk all the time. And so it's great to have you here in this capacity to actually talk about coaching, because I know that you and I have had a lot of conversations about what coaching is and what coaching isn't. And you have actually coached me through several things in my own business. I find a lot of value in what you do. And I want to be able to bring that to those that we work with at Kelly Tennant and Associates. And so tell us a little bit about your background and what led to your career or your desire to become a professional coach.
So I think it's interesting. I think I may have been a coach my whole life, like without really knowing it. One of the things that I love to do is encourage people, really encourage people. And I feel like sometimes I see things in people that they can't yet see in themselves. As a coach, I love bringing that out in people. So my background is I've got sort of a dual background. I've got business and I've got education. I've also worked in the nonprofit sector. And the commonality in all three of those is one of my favorite things was managing people and managing them up and helping them to flourish and become even better at what they do. I decided a couple of years ago, I want to do this full time. Like I did it as a manager. I had a team and I would coach them. But then I thought, you know what? I think that what was calling to me is to serve a larger audience and really coach as many people up as I can. I just love doing it. I love helping people really claim, acknowledge, and demonstrate their strengths.
Yeah, I get that. And the thing that I know from just working with you and having a professional relationship with you is that I think we share in the same sentiments in terms of as a leader and someone who leads people, it's really important to be able to coach them and to lead them in a direction that makes them better leaders, better humans, and it puts them in a position to be better off than when they started with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm all about helping people thrive. And I think that one of the things that coaching at least my coaching does is help people. I lead people through a process to clarify what their goals and objectives are. And we create timelines, and then I offer accountability. That's coaching. That's like pure coaching. But I guess my secret sauce, or one of the things that I do as a coach, is we spend a lot of time, clients and I, identifying skills and strengths and really visioning what a person wants. And then once they've identified that, what do they need to do to achieve that? And how do they need to be to achieve that? And that's like, how do they want to be as a leader? How do they want to support their teams? What do they view as their long-term goals, their trajectory, and the trajectory of the people that work for them or report to them or are co-creators in their professional life and personal life? So as a coach, one of the things that I have a pretty varied background, which I think is really helpful. And I also think what is also very helpful is to recognize that each person is an expert on their own life and on their own career and on their own trajectory. But as a trained coach, what I can do is ask questions. I ask questions to help people get clarity, but they have the answers. And it's really fun watching people discover the answers for themselves and claim their greatness.
Yeah, no, I get that in terms of the work. The work that we do is really complementary, and coaching fits right in there like a solid piece to the puzzle. And it's really great to see all of those pieces come together and to really see people thrive. I agree. So I'm curious. I think it's important for people to understand what coaching is, coaching versus mentoring, and what coaching is not. And I think, and for me, this is kind of a rub for me, but I think the important thing and why I think there's so much value in what you do is the certifications are important, and being trained to help coach people is important from a code of ethics standpoint, from a process standpoint. And coaching is very different from mentoring, from other type of professional development. And so I think it's important for people to understand that. So could you give us a little bit of background on what coaching actually is?
Yes. So a good parallel, is just personal trainer. Like you go to the gym, the personal trainer guides you through a process.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you do the process. So like the client's the one that does the sit-ups. Or whatever. And so in the world of professional coaching or leadership coaching, couple things. First of all, well, in any coaching relationship, for those of us who have earned credentials, we do have a code of ethics. And the most important piece of my work is I don't have an agenda. My agenda is your agenda. So Kelly, what would you like out of coaching today? And then I support you through your process. And so the process is extremely individualized. The other piece is we meet where you are and we move forward. And so we're not doing a lot of looking back unless it's related to moving forward, like if there are roadblocks, but mainly it's about making a plan, following the plan. The other thing is that I'm not a mentor. I can take off my coaching hat and I can be a mentor because I have had a wide array of management roles and business experience, but I am not telling my client what to do when I'm truly following the coaching role. I'm asking questions that help elicit what they need to bring into being. And so like if they want to become a better manager, that's a pretty broad topic.
Sure.
And so we might start that conversation about, well, what's stopping you? And so there's like a lot of introspection for the client.
Right.
Use a lot of different processes, but it's not me saying, well, here's what I think you should do to be a better manager. It's a process of discovery that I help guide, but it's the client's process.
That does make sense. And I was going to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you. It's almost like oftentimes I think we sometimes get stuck in our own way and we have blind spots. I kind of use that term a lot, but we have things that we can't see around that, as you mentioned, you have no agenda. Like you have no ties to that person, so to speak. You have no agenda. Your goal is to help them reach their goal, but they have to do the work. But you're there to see, instead of this, then that. You're there to help them see through those blind spots that they may not be able to see past.
Absolutely. And Kelly, one thing I was thinking about when you were talking right now is, I know this is not going to be correct English, but I view myself as a coach as a paradigm blower upper. So oftentimes people are like me and they have guardrails and they're going from point A to point B. And they want to get to point B. And what I help people do, including myself, is kind of blow up the guardrails, which opens up a world of possibilities that people may not have considered. And in doing so, they change their perspective and possibilities occur to them that never may have before. So perhaps, I never thought about what this employee brings to the table. I should tap into that person's expertise because they're going to help our team really succeed in that regard. And so it's like thinking outside of the box, really.
Yeah, which I think I would classify as different from mentoring, where mentoring, and it's not that your relationship is not relational, but it's a little bit more task oriented. Where mentoring somebody is longer term, relational, a little bit, in my opinion, less task oriented, and you're more of a champion for somebody to help move them through an organization or move them through their career, where, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I see coaching as shorter term, like I'm going to help you get through this specific task, or I'm going to help you build mastery in a certain area by doing some follow-up to a training, versus that mentoring role. So I mean, there is a difference, but there's some parallels too.
And I would say, from my perspective, the other difference that pops into my head about mentoring versus coaching is mentoring, I think, can tend to be teaching.
Yes.
And teaching is really, really necessary, really, really important. And I can show you how to do this, try it out, come back. But in coaching, I don't show people how to do stuff. They decide what they want to do, and they do it or they don't do it. But it involves a lot of experimenting and a lot of really reaching out of comfort zones and building capacity in areas where they may not have thought of doing so before.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so let's say an organization, you're working with an organization to help build teams and to help build leaders, and you're working with let's say a management team, a middle management team, and you're coaching them. What does that look like, and how do you add value to organizations to help build teams and leaders?
It can look differently, but sort of the way that it generally works is that I coach each person individually.
Sure.
And one of the key pieces to be aware of is that, according to my code of ethics, coaching is completely confidential.
Sure.
So yes, the organization might contract with me, and so they'll know I'm working with their employees, but the actual content of what we discuss is completely confidential, unless an organization sets it up differently. But typically they don't, because it's really, really important that the client has a safe container where they can say what they need to say, and where they can really take risks and stretch their wings and do it in a place where they don't feel judged.
Sure.
And so what I do is I support people in becoming really self-reflective and self-aware, identify their values if they haven't done that, and really, really be aware of what their values are, and make sure that what they do is in alignment with their values and who they are. And so they can bring those values to the organization and use them as strengths and offer them up as like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah.
This is my jam, sort of thing. And then as far as teams, one of the most important pieces of in my opinion, of being a good team member, again, is self-awareness. Like, what will I do? What do I bring to the team? And
Sure.
so one thing we do not do in that kind of a coaching situation, while I can be a sounding board, it's not about the stuff that's problematic with other members of the team. Me owning myself, my skills, and how do I want to show up, again, back to that, how do I want to be in the situation, adding this level of accountability. So for example, you said that last week we talked about that you were having a challenge with one of your reports, and you said that you wanted to have a one-on-one with them this week and talk about where they see themselves a year from now. Did you have the one-on-one? How did it go? And so then it becomes this ongoing reflective learning process.
Mm-hmm.
That is really, really valuable. And people really stretch and grow and change, and really begin. The purpose of it, in my opinion, of coaching, ideally, is what I would say is a gradual release model. So like, I don't want a client forever. I want a client for a limited amount of time. And then I want them to use what they learned in our coaching process to hold themselves accountable, do all this for themselves, so that they are a well-equipped, powerful leader.
Yeah. So I'm hanging on to them long-term means that they're not implementing what they're learning, essentially.
Yeah, in my opinion.
I love
everybody. I want to work with y'all forever. And go, you got this.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that too. The self-awareness piece and the accountability piece, like you mentioned, to paraphrase, it's not a therapy session. It's not a session to say, you did this or you did that. It's to say, okay, this is what I bring to the table. This is how I can look at things differently. These are my skills, and this is what I can do within my bubble and my control.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it involves reframing how somebody's looking at something.
Sure.
Like, is that about you? Is that true? And so one of the things I also do as a coach is I challenge people. And then that's what blows up the paradigms and gets them to see new possibilities. And it's a really fun process.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, because it's transformative. It's transforming people, giving people new ways of thinking about things, which I think that's what really moves the needle. It's not being stuck in these continuous frames of mind or these old mental models. It's really about moving the needle and making change over the long term. As we kind of wrap up here a little bit, an organization's looking for a coach for their team, for members in their organization. How should someone align themselves with a coach? What are some things to look for?
First and foremost, I feel like certification is really important.
I do too.
The coaching industry is working hard to regulate itself and have a code of ethics and so on. And so I believe that the first step is to choose someone who is certified. And because it's a really rigorous process, like I went through, over 100 hours of training and being mentored by other coaches and getting feedback on actual coaching sessions and so on. Mm-hmm. And so there's a big difference between a certified coach and someone who isn't certified. So I'd say that's number one. Sure. Number two is what's the coach about? Like, what is the process? Does it fit with your organization?
Sure.
So I am a transformational coach. And so I evoke transformation in my clients. So that needs to be a fit with the organization. And so I would say chemistry, certification, coaches' objectives. One thing that's interestingly, I'm finding myself not feeling is so necessary, which may sound ironic, but I don't think that industry experience is necessary. Because if a coach is well trained, the coaching process is about asking questions. It's not about me consulting the person in the industry. Yeah, that's sort of my 2 cents on that. But I do believe having a varied background is also very, very helpful, because it just having that experience and having that depth of knowledge in different areas, I think can bring a lot of value to a coaching relationship. A lot of empathy and compassion for whatever it is that the client might be going through.
Can you say a little bit more about it's not necessary for experience in the industry, because Surrey for some reason turned on, and I don't know if it cut you off or not.
When I earned my coaching certificate from CTI, which used to be called the Coach Training Institute, now it's Coactive Training Institute, I was certified to coach anybody on anything. And so that just sounds counterintuitive. How can somebody coach anybody on anything? One of the really important things with coaching is that, like I said back when we were starting our conversation, is that I don't have an agenda other than the client's agenda. I don't get stuck in story. I meet a person where they are and ask questions and help them get to the bottom of things. And so if somebody comes into a coaching session and maybe they're a physician, I might make a set of assumptions about somebody that's a physician. So as a coach, I don't do that. I self-manage away from making assumptions. And therefore I don't need to have very specific industry experience. I need to see the person as a whole person and ask questions that evoke transformation. That's what I need to do. I think one thing I've noticed is I have a lot of experience in education. And when I coach educators, I have to self-manage not to consult or mentor, because I'm like, oh, here's what I do. And then it's like, that's not what coaching is about. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Kelly?
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like I said a lot of words right then.
No, it does. It does. So one of the things that I wanted to mention, our two organizations decided to partner together to offer a 6-week coaching program. And so while I myself, Kelly, am not a coach, Sondra is a coach. And again, I think we just kind of put our heads together and realized our businesses complement each other so well. And the work that I do with change and engagement in organizations really complements that coaching piece, and I think can enrich the experience for organizations in terms of, hey, we're trying to train our middle managers, or we've implemented a new training, or we've just built a new strategy, and how can we coach some of our team along to help them build mastery in some of these skills that we've just implemented, or some of these things that we've just implemented. And so we have launched together in partnership a Becoming a Leader 6-week coaching program, and this coaching package includes 6 weekly 45 to 60-minute individual coaching sessions, and they're conducted online just like we are today via Zoom video conferencing. The coaching that we are offering up will help organizations and teams and individuals build strategies to envision desired outcomes, build action steps, as you heard Sondra talk about, actionable steps and accountability, and build that accountability to help you stay on course. And again, as I've mentioned several times, I keep using the word over and over again, but to create that feedback loop where you're building mastery and building or bringing new awareness to yourself, I should say, in terms of what you're capable of and what your strengths are. We are offering this course or this program to individuals. It's a $900 investment plus tax, of course, and you will get connected with Sondra to schedule your individualized coaching sessions, either for you or your team. And so I'm really looking forward to this because I think this is going to really add value to our clients and those of you that are looking to just enrich your skills and your experience. And I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, Sondra.
I love that we're adding coaching to this program, because I think it brings in another layer of accountability, like so what, now what? I've learned all this stuff, but now I am going to apply it, and I am committed to apply it, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to do that with the support of a coach.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's a well-rounded experience for individuals. And so I'm really happy to be launching that program and being able to offer it to more of our clients, to more of your clients, and more of you out there who might be looking for a change in your career and professional development. So with that, Sondra, it's good to chat with you. We're going to have lunch instead of chat over Zoom one of these days. I'm so happy we got to connect. And any parting words for us?
No, thanks for the time, Kelly. I love talking about what I do, which I guess you all probably picked up on, but I really appreciate the opportunity to partnership with you. I've really enjoyed working with you and noodling over new ideas and concepts, and I can't wait to do more. And thank you.
Yeah, same here. We have good synergy, and that's why I love working with you as well. And so with that, I want to thank everyone again for tuning in. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Please reach out via the website if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everyone.